Yo, my boy TJ Laramie is willing to pretty much take any fight at 24 years old, man. After Daniel Swain on the Dana White Contender Series in 2020, my dude is about to take on Pat Sabatini. Derek Minner was his debut in the UFC. Melsik Balgasarian was supposed to be his fight on UFC 268 before he pulled out with a staph infection. Then he was supposed to fight Melsik on this card, and Melsik pulled out, and now Pat steps up. TJ Laramie is 24 years old and about to fight Pat Sabatini in his second UFC fight. I mean, I really hope, as a Canadian brother of mine, I hope he pulls it off. But maybe I'm biased. If you've followed me long enough, my love for the Philly fight scene is on another level. It dates back long before love for MMA even comes into play. And, you know, without question, they do not disappoint from an MMA perspective either. Pat Sabatini is pretty much that. My favorites, whenever I hear the name Pat Sabatini, I think of an LFA championship fight where a man's arm is dangling from his shoulder and he's asking the referee to start to keep fighting and that he's fine. That's the Pat Sabatini that I know, and the one that we're getting in the UFC is on a completely different level as well. He's dangerous, man. He's just the Philly boxers, the Philly striking. It's embedded in these guys. Once they get a taste, I mean, they start to really put it all together. And as a ground fighter, man, Pat's a guy to watch. He's just so dangerous. He loves the leg locks. We've seen him pull some great things off. And my favorite thing about him, man, is he's able to set up the level changing and the wrestling with that grappling so well with amazing striking. So he is definitely a fighter on the rise. If you were lucky enough, like myself, to kind of get some of that action early on as a dog, you know, congratulations. And now we're going to see him really take on a kid who's looking to just get his foot back in the UFC after a first round loss via guillotine choke. I mean, ironically, that's his favorite submission too, right? He's going to learn the hard way at the UFC level. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these 24-year-olds, man, get into the UFC and within 3 fights get cut because they're taking on Derek Minner, Pat Sabatini, and Melsik Balgasarian. You know, I really believe that we're starting to get to a point where this needs to be tiered. Make the undercards. You know, a lot of these prospects and stuff should be on there. And maybe we might be able to start eking out some really good, consistent cards because they can still be hit or miss despite all the talent. So, I don't know. Clearly, with my reaction to this fight, I hope TJ is able to really make this a good fight. The way I see this one playing out is Pat's going to have a lot of volume on the feet. I think TJ is going to be able to do some damage there, but again, he loves the guillotines. He's got a pretty good stand-up game, but he likes to wrestle. He likes to grapple. I mean, a lot of his youth is based out of grappling championships and some kickboxing. But you look at his growth as a BJJ brown belt. It's taken him some time, but he's looked the part, and I think his toughest test ever. And I mean, this could be a tougher test than his next UFC fight. Let's be real, because they're going to give him a bit more of a try, tested, and true type of a test in that third fight. And like I said, man, Pat Sabatini, it's the paths to victory in this fight for me are relatively high for him. And I don't even know what else to say, but I'm going to be picking Pat Sabatini to win this fight, despite TJ being, that Canadian brother of mine that I love to support as much as I can. But I can't go against a guy like Pat that I've just, pretty much fallen in love with over the last year or two. Line wise, man, minus 200. I'm just gonna give him that minus 200. I think that's a fair line based on what we've seen from him. It's gonna be a huge upset if Laramie pulls it off. A lot of us are gonna be crazy happy about it, but we're getting serious about it. So there it is, minus 240 opener, and people jumped on it so quickly that it jumped to minus 400. I mean, I can actually see that line getting worse if people start parlaying that, because I can guarantee you at a price tag of even minus 400, even minus 350 in some places, that line is going to get bet. So my pick, Pat Sabatini. Method of victory, I don't really know yet. I'm going to say submission, but I think that's an absolute dangerous fight for TJ, and I wish him the best of luck in that one.